Welcome to Friday Fish Facts. I'm your host, Ron DeSantis. Today we're at the Canadian Aqua Farm with Rick Grange. Rick, thanks for having us.
Yeah, welcome. Glad to have you.
Let's take a tour. All right. So how many tanks you got going in here?
Well, I haven't counted. Probably about 20 to 30 somewhere.
20 to 30? That's awesome. And you're keeping discus, koi, angelfish, get some rams. And you're also selling food and stuff like that too,
discus food as well.
Okay, great. And how long you been keeping discus for?
25 years.
25 years.
Yeah.
So Rick is the expert. He breeds them and he imports them.
Yes, I do.
Right on. So let's start down at the first tank here. What have we got here?
Yeah, so in this tank we've got a bunch of pure Sea Discus. So these ones were imported from Germany.
Okay. And you got sponge filters on every tank so far that I've noticed, eh?
Yeah, I use sponges on all the tanks. So I have a really simple approach to keeping discus. I mean, it's basically an aquarium with a heater, a couple sponge filters. That's it.
You keep the heat in the mid-80s, or?
Yeah, around 82 to 86 range.
Okay.
Depending on the fish. The smaller ones I keep a little bit warmer.
Okay.
To keep them eating more, growing faster. And the larger guys I'll drop down to about 82.
So since you've got the sponge filters in here, you're going pretty frequent on the water changes?
Yeah, with these heavily stocked tanks, I'm doing daily water changes.
Daily?
Yeah.
25 or?
100%.
100%
Just drain the whole tank and then stick the hose in there and start filling it up again.
Oh, the python?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, right on.
Okay, so for water changes, what I do is I'll start draining the tank on one side with a big hose.
Mm-hmm.
And once the water gets down to maybe an inch or two, I'll start refilling on the opposite side of the tank. And that'll rinse all the poop and last bit of dirty water out to the siphon.
The discus are just laying down?
The discus are on their side, and they're perfectly used to that. That's the way all the pro breeders in Asia do their water changes too. So they've grown up and they're totally used to it.
And then you've got some koi here. So.
I do. So these are ones that were born here this summer.
Inside or outside?
Outside.
Yeah?
I usually do my breeding either like in a covered area, under the deck, or greenhouse. And then I'll bring the fry in for the first winter.
Okay.
Keep them a little bit warmer, keep them growing.
And then you put them back outside?
They'll go out next spring. Yeah.
Okay.
And then they're good to stay out for the second winter. And the parents of these guys I brought back from Japan in 2018. I went over there, picked out a bunch of really nice breeders.
Wow.
And so now we've got them spawning here in Canada.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got some Ultims down here?
Yeah, those
what
are
kind
tank-bred Ultims.
Tank-bred
Yeah,
Ultims.
bred in captivity as opposed to wild caught.
Congratulations.
I didn't breed them, but I'm happy to have them. Hope to grow them up and breed them one day.
So I don't know a ton about the Ultims, but the pH has to be super low, right?
Well, the wild cuts come from super low pH, like 4 or 4.5 kind of range. When they come in, they need to be at a low pH and slowly acclimatized, but the tank-bred ones are fine at a neutral pH.
So our tap water, I mean, we live in the same city.
Yeah.
Right now, this time of year is coming out around 6, so
Yeah,
you're
just in
fine
straight
with
tap
that?
water. Yeah.
Cool.
So this
We got a
tank-
lot of color in here, Rick.
We do, yeah. These are some Asian imports. What's interesting here is the tank's painted black, and the background color of your tank will affect the discus color quite a bit in most cases. As you can see, the heckles in here, they've gone really dark.
Yeah.
But the light colored ones are albinos, and they won't change color, even in a dark tank. So they work really well. If you've got a dark background or black substrate, albinos are a good choice, because they'll always stay nice and bright, whereas some of the others will go too dark.
So, like discus this size, these colors, what would the price range be?
Well, albinos tend to be a little bit higher priced, so these guys go for about 115 to 250 a piece.
Okay. And then what about the more colorful ones?
And then the more colorful, like non-albino strains, they usually start about $65.
Yeah.
And depending on the fish, they go up to close to 500 a piece.
Wow. Maybe you'll show us some of those.
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so we've got a little bit of a grow-out tank here, so we're selling these.
Yeah, these are pretty much the smallest size that I bring in. They're the 2 to 2.5 inch size. These ones are also from pure Sea in Germany. And it's absolutely incredible how fast they grow.
Really?
Yes. Pretty close to an inch a month.
An
At
inch
this
a
size,
month?
until
Really?
they hit about 4.5 inch, and then they start to slow down. So for those first couple months, this size grows really fast.
So what are you feeding them?
They're getting Vita Complete. All
Okay.
the fish in my fishery get fed Vita Complete.
Vita Complete.
Yeah.
From the, you do freshly hatched baby brine when they're brand new?
I do that for fry.
Yeah, for fry,
We'll
and
get
then-
to
and
a
then you
tank with
move on.
babies
Yeah.
a little bit later, and we'll see some that are eating brine shrimp.
Okay, right on. So we've got some cool angelfish in here, some type of koi variety.
Yes, these are koi angels from Danziger in Israel. There's two types. Is full reds, which have a high percentage of the red-orange coloration.
Yeah.
And then there's the orange head kois, which only have the orange on the forehead. Hey, he's hiding behind the sponge filter there.
Ah. So you never have a problem with the discus and angels together?
No, the biggest issue to watch for with that is that the angels are a little bit faster at feeding time. So
Okay.
it's about making sure there's enough food spread out throughout the tank that the discus get a chance at it as well.
So that's a good tank mate you would suggest with discus angelfish? And
Yeah,
a lot of people have like cardinal tetras.
Yeah, tetras are really good. Dwarf cichlids work well too, like grams, pistos. And then your cleanup crew, like corridors and pushing those placos are good too.
Oh yeah. So what pH do you keep these?
These guys are just in straight tap water.
They're the straight
so
tap
whatever
water.
comes out of the tap.
That's right. And then same with the koi?
Koi as well.
Same straight out of the tap?
Yeah, just tap water, and I change enough water that the pH doesn't drop too much. But if you were to go longer periods without changing the water, you'd want to do something to keep the pH buffered because the koi do like a little bit higher. So a crushed coral or oyster shell in the tank, that would help keep the pH a little bit higher for them.
So that's what we do as well. We've got
Yeah.
coral in all our tanks because,
Perfect.
well, almost all of them except for one that doesn't require a higher pH.
Right.
Okay, we've got some more discus in here. What type are these ones?
So most of the larger ones in here are imported from Dexter Chung of the Philippines.
Okay.
And the smaller one is mostly PORSQ of Germany, so a mix in this tank. But some of Dexter's fish are really impressive looking. Like you look at the shape of this guy, nice dorsal fin. That's like a show quality discus right there.
So what makes a discus high quality versus not?
Shape is a huge thing. You want a higher body as opposed to longer body.
Yeah.
And then the nice high fin as well. Small eye to body ratio. So you don't want to see a discus with a big eye and a small body. That's the fish that's stunted. A lot of the time they'll also be the ones that look longer body. And then pattern as well. Typically you want to see a nice full pattern all the way to the end of the fish.
Right. And will the pattern fill in as they get bigger?
Yeah, actually these are the same type.
Okay.
Hard to believe, but as they grow, the color will come in. Typically, by the time they hit 4.5 inch, they'll have a good amount of their color showing.
What do we got here? Vixen black angels?
Yeah, in this tank are black whales that I'm going out to try and breed. I think we're getting close.
Yeah.
See a lot of chasing going on.
Oh, that's good. See if it's pairing yet?
A little bit, yeah.
We've got a few different types of rams in the top. We've got your regular German ram, the electric blue. What do we call them?
Those are gold rams.
Those are the golds. And a few angels in here. Any breeding up the top here?
Cover rams are constantly laying eggs.
Are they?
Yeah. Can't stop.
So where do they lay the eggs?
They'll lay them right on the bottom of the tank on the glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, occasionally on top of the sponge filter.
And you pull the eggs and try and
If I want to try and raise them, I'll pull them out.
Yeah.
If they're only glass, you can take a razor blade and scrape them off and set them out.
Okay. And do you do anything with the pH in these?
No, all my tanks are just straight tap
Tap?
water. Yeah, I don't do anything to adjust pH. And then the other fish in that tank are the dantons.
Oh yeah,
The
up in the
angel
top
spray
right hand
danton.
corner. I never even noticed.
Very much like wild squid.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we've got some of the very popular black rams in here right now. And you're trying to breed those?
Yeah, they spawned once, and it looks like they're getting pretty close to their eggs again.
Were you able to pull any of those eggs when they spawned?
I did, yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't have too much success with the drive. Only got a couple still going.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes with the next one.
And you're feeding them baby brine as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Either frozen or the freshly hatched?
I freshly hatched it.
Yeah. And what kind of angels do we got in here?
The bigger angels in there are Santa Isabels.
Yeah.
So they're the ones who get the nice orange shoulder when they're fully mature. And the smaller ones are wild cut Altons.
Also notice everything's bare bottom.
Everything's bare bottom.
Is there a reason for the bare
It
bottom?
makes maintenance so much easier.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about cleaning gravel or anything like that.
Yeah.
I can just take a towel, wipe the bottom of the tank down, and then drain and refill.
Yeah, and since you're doing the huge water changes every day, you don't have to worry about a crashing tank or anything like that.
Exactly, yeah.
So what have we got in this one here?
This tank are adult discus from Dexter Chili.
Okay.
A whole variety of things in there.
And then up top, we've got some beautiful ones up here. I really like the blue ones.
Yeah, the blue ones, those are the most expensive discus I have right now.
Oh, so I can't take a few more.
They're $440 a piece. But those
a
are
little
actually
short,
all,
Ashley. Can you
they're all
help me
sold
out?
anyway.
They're all sold.
They are.
Okay.
They're gonna get picked up later this week.
So they're gonna get shipped. They're gonna get picked up.
These
But you
ones are
do
going
ship
local.
as well.
I do ship right across Canada as
Right
well.
across Canada.
Actually, the two in there that aren't blue, they're a breeding pair. So they just finished
Oh, okay.
raising some fry this week.
And you sold them all to one person.
Yep.
That's a big investment. Hopefully they've got discus keeping experience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be okay.
Oh yeah. So Rick, you've been doing this 10 years,
Yes.
and you just telling us, yeah, this is your full-time job.
It is, yeah.
So that's awesome, man. That's the life goal for a lot of people.
For sure, I'm living the dream.
So how long? When did you start keeping fish? How old are you?
I was 6.
6.
Yeah.
With what kind of fish?
Started with a community tank.
Oh yeah.
So just assorted tetras and angels and that type of thing.
And then what got you into discus?
When I started with discus, I was working at a pet store after school, and one of our customers was breeding them. So I was able to buy some fry off him, and that was my start with discus.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Never looked back after that. Just got more and more discus all the time.
Yeah. Okay, Rick, how old are these fry?
They are about 3 days free swimming right now.
Okay, and they're constantly following around the parents.
Yes, they're feeding on the slime coat of mom and dad.
They're feeding on the slime coat of mom and dad. That is cool. And every time mom and dad try and get away from them, like, they follow them like a...
They do. They're not going to let mom and dad get far.
So how long do you leave them in with mom and dad?
Usually between 5 to 7 days. In this case, it's a really large spawn, which is a little bit harder on the parents, so I'll pull them early.
Okay.
I'll probably take them out tonight.
So
They're already eating baby brine shrimp.
they're already eating baby brine shrimp,
Yeah.
which you hatch yourself.
I do, yeah. So as soon as they start to eat baby brine, they're okay to go on their own.
What type have we got in here?
Those are fire ruby leopards.
Cool.
And I've got 4 of them in that tank to try and get a breeding pair of them.
Oh, okay.
So what I usually do is throw about 4 discus in a 20-gallon tank.
Yeah.
And just let them sort things out amongst themselves. So usually 2 will pair off within a week or so if it's going to happen.
And then will they become aggressive to the other 2?
Yeah, they'll chase the other 2 up into a top corner.
And then you'll notice that and then remove them.
Yeah, so I scoop out the 2 that aren't paired and leave the pair there to start breeding.
And is that what you do with the angels as well?
Angels the same way. Yeah.
You'll stick a group together.
Yeah.
And
Even the angels will pair up even in big groups like this. 2 will take over the back of the tank, push everyone to the front.
So then it's easy to see.
Yeah.
Go out and
Makes it
then
really easy. Actually, in the next tank over, there's a pair of angels with babies. Actually, babies and eggs. Right
Oh
there.
yeah, on the PVC pipe.
Can't stop them. Yeah. And the babies are on the right-hand side of the tank. Probably good way down.
There they are. So do you have like sick fish come in sometimes?
They
Like,
don't typically come in sick, but they'll often be stressed out.
Okay.
Especially if flight's missed and they come in a day late, which sometimes happens.
How can you tell they're stressed out?
So the stressed out guys will typically play dead on the bottom of the tank, and they may stay that way for a week, or I've probably had some go as long as 2 weeks,
Really?
just laying on their side. But as long as I see them breathing, I know
Yeah,
they're
you
gonna
know they're
come
gonna
back.
bounce back?
Yeah, you never lose those guys; they always bounce back.
That's awesome. So Rick, what would you say your biggest challenge is?
My biggest challenge would be my schedule. Because I ship fish all over the place, there's
Yeah.
flights leaving at different times, as well as importations coming in at different times.
Yeah.
I can literally be working any hour of the day or night. So that can get a little hard, especially when there's several
Owning
days in
your
a
own
row.
business, yeah, you gotta do everything.
In the middle of the night one day, during business hours the next day.
And you're a one-person show, so you
I am.
gotta
Yeah, I do it all
take care of
myself.
everything. You can just go ahead and follow Rick.
All right, let's go.
There's 4.
Yes.
How big are these?
The ponds?
Yeah.
I think if they were filled to capacity, they'd be close to 1,000 gallons.
Wow.
We typically only fill them about halfway, though.
And you keep your your full-size koi out here.
Yeah, these are some of the big breeders. This first pond's got some of the big females. Oh, look at the beard on that guy.
How big are some of these?
The biggest ones are about 26 inches.
26 inches.
A little over 2 feet.
So how much would these be on your website?
These go for around $600 to $2,000 a piece, depending on the fish.
The big ones are the most expensive?
Not always. Depends on what farm they come from and the type. So the big 3 types are the most expensive generally, which is Kohaku, Showa, and Sanki. And then some farms are more expensive than others, generally according to how many grand championships they've won over in Japan.
Yeah.
Like Dainichi and Sakai Fish Farm, their fish tend to be a little more than a lot of the other farms.
How many angels are in here, Rick?
I think there's about 500 still.
Wow.
We started with about 1,000.
So there's a mix.
There's a whole mix.
Oh, you
We've
got
got-
some blues.
Yeah, there's the neon blues, there's black velvets, green smoky, albino dantum, regular dantum, a whole bunch of koi as well, the orange heads and the full reds.
How do you get down? You got a big long net to scoop them out?
I do. Yeah, it's sitting on top of the pond.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Those blue ones are gorgeous.
Yeah, they've got great color. And when you see them in a tank, they've got ruby red eyes too.
Really?
Which really shows up nice with the blue body color.
Yeah, so if we're doing angels again, those are what we have to do. So Rick, Ashley noticed you got your brine shrimp in the corner of your discus tank in this pop
Yes.
bottle here. What's your system? How do you hatch your brine shrimp?
So for hatching the brine shrimp, I put a handful of salt into the bottle and a little bit of brine shrimp egg.
What brand do you use?
I have my own brand actually that I have on my website. They're 90% plus, so nice high quality egg. And I'll just bubble it away. If it's in the discus tank where it's warm, it'll take about 12 hours to hatch. And then if I'm planning further ahead and I want to hatch it out a little bit later, I'll hatch it at room temperature, and it takes about 24 hours to hatch.
All right, Rick, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Your place is
Pleasure to have you.
amazing. Oh, it's a pleasure to be here. Your website is?
CanadianAquaFarm.com.
CanadianAquaFarm.com. Check in the video description. There will be a link there. Join me next week for another edition of Friday Fish Facts.